guys, and welcome back to episode 16 of the podcast. My name is Robbie Cassidy and I'm your host today. And today we're going to discuss working on different problem areas over the lockdown, or even you can extend it after the lockdown. But the goal today is I want to help people to isolate areas of tightness and then help them promote movement, or to get a lot more movement into those areas to try reduce pain. Okay, so a lot of people now, and I've noticed it on Instagram, are getting onto me talking about asking me about what moves they can do or what movements they can do, because they're starting to find pain is kicking up in areas that they would have injured. It could be months, it could be years before. So I thought a good time to just bring out this podcast, and hopefully this will help at least one person anyway, to get rid of that pain that's been nagging at you for a while, or at least reduce it for a while. Now, before I jump into it, I want to talk about my program that's released, my foundational mobility program. And it will tie into a lot of what I'm talking about today. So it's a program that isolates a different area of the body. It's a 5-day program, isolates a different area of the body each day, and it brings you through different movements and different strengthening exercises to help relieve pain, to help relieve or reduce tightness, and to improve overall mobility. So it's a 5-day program, and it's a 6 to 8 week program, depending on what you want to do, because it has a beginner and advanced version. You can go through the first 6 weeks, and if you feel you're comfortable, then you can progress on, or you can go through 8 weeks of it with the beginner, and by the 8th week mark, you'll definitely be ready to progress on to the advanced. So overall, you could extend it to, let's say, a 12 week program if needed. But the goal of it is to help people first learn more about mobility, and then to reduce pain and reduce tightness, and also just build their overall foundational level of mobility. So it has a lot of movements in there, a lot of strengthening exercises, and it'll be excellent for anyone who has an idea about mobility. They understand what you're supposed to be doing, but just are missing that link of they don't know exactly what to do, what exercises, how to structure. So it's a program. You can find it on my website at www.themobilitytutor.com, and it'll be under the program section, or you can go into my Instagram and find it in my bio on the Instagram. Just click into the link and it'll bring you straight there. So that's the foundational mobility program. So as you may have heard me talking about previously or in the past, and I've done a few podcasts on it as well, how pain itself is multifactorial. There's so many things involved in pain, and there's so many things playing in that can increase pain. Now, one of the main contributors to pain, or pain kicking up again, now obviously there's a lot of things involved, but is stress. And this contributes to, let's say, older injuries that you may have injured your knee a year ago, or you could have had surgery on your knee, or you could have injured your shoulder. And now after the Christmas, the new lockdown was imposed, so obviously we're in lockdown for the next couple of weeks, and you don't know why, but this pain is starting to kick up a small bit again, even though you haven't changed anything. If anything, you might have reduced the amount you were doing, and it's starting to kick up and it's nagging at you all the time. So first thing I want to talk about is we need to look at what may be causing that pain to kick up. Now, specifically in this podcast episode, as I'm not going to give general advice to people on helping to rehab injuries, because I don't want to do that, and I don't want to set up somebody who may be in a more severe situation that need medical advice to go along with what I'm saying and just try help it out, and then leaving it too long. So first things first, if you feel the pain is severe, or if you feel that it's a new pain or something that you don't recognize, or if it's something that you are worried about, I would definitely say to consult a doctor, or you can book a physio session or a consultation session with myself or another physio, and just to get it checked out. But if it's something that you have, let's say you injured your knee earlier in the year, and it's starting to just kick up again now, then this episode is for you. It'll give you a few things to think about more so. So as I said, the first thing is what may be causing the pain to kick up again. So there's a lot of things that contribute to pain. I've done a pain experience podcast. It was one of my first podcasts, and I would definitely direct you back to that podcast to check that out. And it's a comprehensive overview of what causes pain. But just a quick rundown of it. So there's a lot of things that cause it. As I said, stress is one of them. Anxiety and worry as well will increase your pain, because of the fact that pain is dictated by how much of a threat to the system the body feels there is. So a good example, and one that I always use, is the Lego example. If you get up in the middle of the night and you go to the bathroom, now it's completely dark, you don't see anything, and if you step on a tiny piece of Lego, how much pain does that cause? Because doesn't directly mean that there's harm all the time, and it's how much perceived harm more so than anything else. If you step on a piece of Lego at nighttime, it feels like you're after stepping on a sharp knife or a blade. But if you look at that Lego, and if you step on it in daytime and you can see it in front of you, and then you put pressure through your foot, it's a completely different severity of pain, as opposed to if you step on it and you'd be jumping around the room after it. So we need to take that into account. What's causing that? Now, it's dark out, so your visual field is impaired. You can't see anything around you. So when you step on Lego at nighttime, if you step on an object on the ground when it's dark, your body has a severe reaction in that if it was a blade, you want to get off it as quick as possible. So it gives you a lot of pain, and you jump and you're reactive and you jump away from it. Now, same thing as if in the daytime, because you can see it, you won't have that reaction. Well, you might if you don't see it and you step on it. Obviously, it's going to be sore. But if you can see it and you step on it, you're not going to have the same amount of pain. Now, that's because it's a threat to the system. Obviously, if something sharp is underneath your foot, with all the tendons that are there, with how much you use your feet during the day, you're going to want to get off it as quick as possible. So we need to take that into account as we go through this podcast and think about that. That's just an easy example of an easy way to show, I should say, that it's threat to the system as opposed to direct hurt equaling harm. So it's going to be different on everything. Now, there's a lot of other things that play into that. Now, poor sleep is a huge one, because when you sleep poorly, your body is on high alert all the time, and then that's going to contribute to your pain, and you're going to feel a lot more. On top of that, you could have a poor diet, eat food that causes a lot of inflammation, or eat food that doesn't agree with you. Now, I'm no nutritionist or dietitian, so I won't go into serious detail on that, but that can also, it can reduce your mood. It can make you, it can affect your energy levels as well. So it can affect your mood and your energy levels. And then because of that, you're more fatigued. And if you're more fatigued, then you will, pain will be higher at a lower, your pain threshold will be a lot lower. Okay. So you'll feel pain at a lot more pain with the lower stimulus. The same thing goes for when you're stressed. There's a lot of outside stimulus, a lot of outside, or your environment is dictating what's going on in your head a lot, and because of that, or if you're anxious and you're worried, you can catastrophize things, which means that you just make them a small bit worse than they are. But it's not that you're meaning to do it, it's just that things are building up, and you're not getting enough recovery time. And then because of that, all that stress plays in, then again, you're going to get a lot more pain with a lower stimulus. Okay, so if you're stressed out and you fall on your arm, or if you're stressed out and you bang your knee or anything like that, it's going to be a lot more painful. So let's look at your changes in, I said mental health, but it's not exactly mental health, but it does play into it. And that's what I mean with your stress, your anxiety and your worry. Then I said poor sleep, poor diet, all play in. Now, let's look at the other things and how COVID could have changed this and how this lockdown changed it. So on top of that, obviously the stress and anxiety all plays in, but your activity reduces a lot. So you may have been going to the gym beforehand. You may have been going to the gym before Christmas, let's say, and you had good plans to get started again in the new year. And now, because of the new lockdown, you don't have access to the gym, and it's cold outside and it's icy, so it's not as safe to be exercising outside. And you might not have enough space to exercise in your room or in your house. So that's going to reduce your activity levels overall. And as we know, exercise and activity is huge for the body in regulating pain and regulating stress, in improving cardiovascular health and improving overall health and mental health as well. So now that you can't get out and you're not exercising as much, your body starts scanning itself and saying, where are the issues? Because you don't have any release. So, and I know a lot of people that come into the gym, into us, they say, this is our only release at the moment. They're at home, they're working from home, and then they come into the gym and that's their release. So now that you've no release, all that stress and all that anxiety and your poor sleep your sleep starts to get worse, and your routine is out of whack and your diet gets worse, and then you might not be drinking as much water. All that gets bottled up, and now you don't have any release for it. And exercise might have been your release before. So your body starts scanning itself, and it looks at areas that may have been injured in the past. So let's say you had a knee surgery. I'm going to use knee throughout this because it's a handy example. If you have a knee surgery, that knee is going to start kicking up again. And this you can be 20 years old, or you can be 50 years old, or 60 years old. It doesn't make a difference. Your nervous system scans your body to see where the issue is. And in areas that are highly sensitive, which would have been a place that you would have injured before, or you would have surgery there, that'll start to kick up again. Okay, or can start to kick up again. It's not always going to, but it can start to kick up again. So it's an injured area, it's sensitive. Your nervous system is a lot more sensitive to a lower stimulus, as we said, as your pain threshold is down. And now you'll start feeling that knee pain on a day-to-day. You're just walking around. So you should think about that, and what's causing it, and how all those things bottled up are going to have an effect. So it's really important to have a release and have a recovery time. If you're working at home, you need to separate your work day from your actual life as best you can, in whatever way you can. I know it myself. I'm working at home all the time as well, so I make sure to have a cutoff point that I stop, and then I make sure to have a recovery aspect of my evening. Now, I might go to the sauna, or I might do a meditation, or I might start reading. But what I don't want to do is finish work, finish on my laptop screen, go straight to my phone and go on Instagram for 2 hours, or go straight to Netflix and watch Netflix all evening. Now, that can be relaxing, but make sure there's a break there, that you actually are doing something different. Even if you're doing your own mobility workout, or if you're doing your own exercise workout or HIIT workout at home, or even if you're doing anything like that, make sure that you're actually taking the time to relax afterwards. Other things then, looking at it, you could also have, we definitely won't discount the fact that it's all this stress that's bottled up, or anxiety that's bottled up, and all your sleep is affected. You could have re-injured yourself. So if you may have fell, had an impact in that knee, you could have had a bang off a wall or something like that, or you could have been even overusing it. So overusing and increasing your activity. I know in the last lockdown, a lot of people started running 5Ks who probably never ran a 5K in their life before. And then because of that, that's a huge stimulus to the body, massive amount of stress, especially if you're running on roads, and that big amount of stress, your body's not able to handle that. And then you still, because I don't know, some people do it because they wanted to put it up on Instagram. So because you're doing it, you put one up on a Monday, and you might run again then on a Friday or a Wednesday, and you haven't given yourself enough recovery time, and you haven't taken any time to sit down and go through a mobility routine and actually let yourself recover properly, as opposed to just running, stopping. You've no warm up, you've no cool down, so that you're increasing your activity too fast there, and that means you're not giving yourself enough recovery time, and you actually have injured the area. So it's important to take into account, is there an actual injury there as well, because you've done too much too fast. So before I move on to the next part, what I wanted to say is, and I'm going to reiterate that point of, if you feel the pain that you're getting is severe, or if you're worried about it, or if it's a pain that you've never had before, or if it's a pain, let's say, that's waking you up at night, and you're getting a lot of pins and needles or anything like that, then I would say to consult a medical professional, or consult a healthcare professional as well. So you can book a consultation with myself, or you can book a consultation with any physio. Physios are still open at the moment with the lockdown, I'm sure, even if it's online, and that way you can still get it cleared up and get your worries put away, and you be sent in the right direction then, as opposed to just worrying about it all the time and making it worse and worse and worse. So that's my disclaimer. Definitely get it checked if you're worried about it. Now, outside of that, if it is something that you know yourself that it's somewhere that you would have injured before, and it's just kicking up a small bit more, an easy thing that you can do is to obviously start picking a mobility routine that is going to isolate the area and hit the area a small bit more, and get more movement into it as best you can. Now, getting more movement into a sore knee doesn't mean going for a 5K run or a 10K run. Get more movement, and it could just be something as simple as leg swings. Something really easy, non-weight bearing. You're not putting a lot of pressure to it, and you're just giving it a chance, and see if that affects it, and see if that improves it. On top of that, then, you can look at working on your range of motion. So mobility helps work on your range of motion. So doing mobility exercises is going to help you work on joints in a controlled manner, in a controlled space, and that you can actually take the time to see if there is a one point within the joint that's really hurting you. Okay, so that's another simple one to do. And all you do is, I would say, spend 10 minutes on the ground, or 10 minutes, I suppose you can do stand it up as well, but a lot of the time the exercises are on the ground, just working through it, getting through it as best you can. Now, simple other things that you can do to increase your activity generally would be to start like a HIIT workout. Start a high intensity workout if you want to, if you feel that you're able for it. Obviously, don't make it any worse. Or simple things like going for a walk. I know it's icy out at the moment, so a walk and a cycle might not be an option for some people, but if you have access to a track or anything like that and you feel that you're able to go out, or if you feel it's safe to go out on the roads yourself, definitely get out there and start walking a small bit more, because you need to increase your activity. To the guidelines are 30 minutes a day. Now, if you're young and you're healthy, I would say try hit a small bit more than 30 minutes a day. Now, that's 30 minutes a day, 5 days a week is what they say. But if you're young and you're healthy, I don't see why you wouldn't be trying to hit a small bit more than that if you can. So a walk is a really simple way of doing it. And then getting out in nature as best you can is really important as well, to help regulate the nervous system, help relax yourself down. So getting out to a forest or getting out to wherever you can, just to walk around for a few minutes and clear the head. On top of that, looking at getting sunlight early in the morning is going to help to improve your sleep at night. Okay, so getting sunlight early in the morning and late in the evening is really important. And we have been lucky in that the weather has been very good here. But that's very, very, very important. Get out early in the morning, get out and get fresh air, so you're not bottled up in a room the whole day. And I know it myself, because even speaking from my own experience, I'm going to be moving away in a couple of weeks. If anyone that didn't know that, I am moving away to hopefully somewhere around East Asia for a small while. And I'm going to go there, but at the moment I'm working, so I'm trying to build stuff. So I'm stuck on my laptop all day long from 9 in the morning till 8 in the evening. And I really have to focus on actually taking the time. So that's what I was saying. And that's why this does resonate back to myself as well, what I'm talking about here, in that I needed to make sure that I had that cutoff point of starting at 9 and finishing at 6. Because if I don't have the cutoff point, it does drag on and on and on. And I'll say, I'll do one more thing. And then because of that, I'm not getting any sunlight in. Okay, so I should say this is previously in the last couple of weeks as opposed to right now. So I have been working on it. I've been working on getting out in the morning as best I can and getting sunlight in, even if I'm just standing outside in the fresh air for a couple of minutes and just taking it in, or going for a small walk. And then in the evening as well, I'm trying to get out. Well, I'm trying to get out at lunch, really, for even 10 minutes just after lunch. And really, guys, when I say I'm getting out, I'm literally going outside, standing in my backyard and just looking around or messing with the dogs and stuff like that. That's all I'm doing. It's nothing hectic. I'm not doing any crazy routines or anything like that. Then in the evenings, before I sauna, I'm trying to get a couple of exercises in that I'm doing, like either a few mobility exercises or a few strengthening exercises if I can. And then I'm saunaing, and then I'm going to bed, trying to keep a consistent sleep time. But my sleep time is up and down and all over the place at the moment. So it's something that I'm working towards. So the advice I've given to you at the moment just plays back to myself exactly the same. Now, other things that you can work on as well would be something like a non-sleep rest, where you're just sitting back, closing your eyes for a couple of minutes, letting yourself relax down. That just plays into the recovery side of things. So your non-sleep rest, it could be a meditation, or it could just be where you go over and you lie in the bed and you close your eyes. You don't have to sleep. You just have to be relaxing, okay? A nap then as well is another way you could do it. It's just taking yourself away from work. And the reason I'm saying this is because you're probably wondering, where's he going with that? The reason I'm saying this is because what we're trying to do is we're trying to reduce the threat on your system to help that pain come down as best we can. So movement is huge. So that's why I was saying work on your range of motion, pick up exercises that you can isolate the area and then that are globally, or work global muscles. So isolation would be like a thoracic rotation, while this is for your back now, while a global movement might be like you could be working into a scorpion or an iron cross, where you're using a lot more muscles and a lot more joints. So working on that. Another one would be trying to get contraction into the area. So you're just squeezing and relaxing, squeezing and relaxing. So it's like a PNF style thing. And then you could work on building strength there if you're able to. Stability around the area. Get yourself more comfortable using the area, okay, as best you can. Then when you're doing it, you want to make sure that you're not saying that you're trying to change your beliefs. So if it's a knee that's kicking up, You're trying to change your beliefs in that you feel comfortable walking on a knee all the time. So you can stand on one leg is a really good way of doing it. But I don't want to go into too much detail on that, because just in case there is people out there who have a more severe injury. So I won't go into massive amounts of detail on changing your beliefs in this podcast, because of the fact that if someone is in a, I suppose, more severe situation and they don't know it and they're just trying to play it off as a smaller thing, it's really important that I don't put out wrong advice in that way, okay? So, and if you are, guys, same thing again, set up a consultation with somebody so you can get it checked out. But the most important things are that you're planning your recovery, and your recovery is just making sure that you're stepping away from the things that are stressing you out for a couple of minutes. So stepping outside, doing those non-sleep rests that you can step back from it. Your recovery could be a 20, 30-minute mobility routine, or even just a 10-minute mobility routine that you're just working the body, getting it moving, and then you're increasing your activity overall, and that's getting outside and walking around. So I'm going to keep this episode fairly short, as it has a lot of stuff in there about how to help yourself out and how to get yourself moving again, really. So I'm going to call it working on problem areas over lockdown. And the main things, what I want you to do is, why is it becoming a problem area? Recap of the episode. Is it because your activity has either reduced or increased significantly? Is there a change in your mental health at the moment? So stress, anxiety, or worry. So do you need to talk to someone just to chat about things? It could be something as small as that, or not as small as that, because that's obviously significant enough. But it could be that you just need a release to talk to somebody about something. Now, on top of that, you have to look at your sleep and your diet and your hydration, your routine. Are you following a nice routine that you're starting work, and when you're finishing work that it's done, and that there's a cutoff point there that you actually start relaxing? Or did you actually re-injure the area from an impact, so like a fall, or you're overusing it from like a 5k run when you haven't done one before? So just find out what's causing that. If you have any worry, then obviously you're booking in with a medical professional straight away. Then once you've that done, you're looking to check, or looking to see what you can do to help it recover. So your recovery is just stepping back and letting the body relax down. If we think of yin and yang, it's like you're black and white. If you're stressed, the easiest way to stop being stressed is to recover, okay, or relax. So stress and relaxation go together. Now, how do you then you need to look into it a small bit more. How do you relax? It could be something like going out for a walk, getting out and getting sunlight, doing activities that you enjoy. Could be anything from playing chess, could be anything like that, as long as it's not a stressful activity. And that's why I really say stay away from your phone, because your phone is not a relaxing activity. It's just drawing your attention in, and it's using that dopamine over and over again. Same with Netflix. It's not as bad. It's a bit longer term and it's relaxing in that, but you want to just step back from screens. It's probably the easiest way. And that could be non-sleep rest. That could be just going through your mobility routine. That could be exercising. It could be playing with your kids. It could be absolutely anything, as long as you're taking the time to step back from what you were doing originally. So guys, that's everything that I wanted to chat about today. If I've mentioned a few times in this program, and I'll just say quickly again about the 20-minute mobility programs. If that's something that you're interested in and you feel that's going to help you, I would definitely recommend checking out that foundational mobility program to give you ideas and give you a structure to your mobility routine. And it's a 5-day program, so you have your 3 big days that work on specific areas, and then you have 2 days that work on the body. But it'll definitely give you an insight into how to structure your program. It'll give you an insight into how to plan it and how long it should be and what you should be hitting, and then how to include strength as well with mobility. Strength and breathing, I should say, with mobility. So it includes a lot of stuff there, and I do talk about sleep in it as well, and I do talk about increasing your activity, and I talk about hydration as well. So I cover a lot of what I've talked about in this session here, or in this podcast. But if anyone's interested in that, just check the link in my bio, or you can check on my website, and that's at themobilitytutor.com. So thanks a million, guys. If you felt that this helped you out in any way, I'd love if you could share it on Instagram. It's the easiest way, or the best way that I can get this podcast out there. So if you could share it on Instagram, and if you could rate it if you're on iTunes, that would be top class. Or even share it to any of your friends. That would be excellent, and it would help me a massive amount. As always, if you have any questions, you can get in contact with me. Instagram is probably the quickest way to get in contact with me. but you can also get in contact with me on LinkedIn at Robbie Cassidy, and then you can send me an email as well at mobilitytutor@gmail.com. But that's everything from me today. Thanks a million for listening, guys. I will chat to you all again soon. Have a good one.